Hey guys, today's video is sponsored by GSI. Morning! We're getting back from a very impromptu camping trip. We're over here at the bins and we got a visitor. What's going on? Not much. Looks like you guys are hard at work.
Something like that. I don't know. It's, I had some 30-inch-roll beans I planted probably 3 or 4 years ago, and we got really dry that summer.
So Nathan from Borderview Farms, he just happened to be driving through. Met Nathan at a couple farm shows, got to know him a little bit, and asked if we could stop and take the tour. So here he is. So if you guys haven't checked out Nathan's channel, do me a favor. There'll be a link in the description. Go check it out. Pretty interesting farm content. See ya. Look at that. He's got the power steps. So like I said, that was Nathan from Borderview Farms. If you haven't checked out his channel, go look him up. If you like the green equipment, he's got a lot of it. And even if you don't, he does a very good job, so check him out. Morning! So this is the day after Nathan left, and we're going to try to get this gearbox fixed over here at the grain bins. We finally got our parts. We were waiting on them for almost a month. So there's the gearbox. It's been fixed. Had a bearing out of it, but we've got to get it back over there on the end of this auger. If you missed the previous episode, that gearbox is how we unload these 3 bins, and they're all full. Beans, and corn, so need to get those emptied. First order of business is draining all the water. BJ already vacuumed the water out of that spot, but over here in the leg pit, our sump pump didn't work. Float stuck on it. This is why you don't put your leg in a hole in a poorly drained area, because all that water just kind of hangs out. That stinks bad. All right, now we're just cleaning up the plates that gearbox sits on, trying to get all the junk off there. So along with this gearbox being out, there's a hanger bearing in here that is out that holds this auger. So we're trying to fix that before we get this gearbox on here, and that's kind of where we're at now. We're having to do some custom fabricating for some bushings for this bearing.
Yeah, if you're real industrious, we just knock some bins over and start over.
Well, that'd definitely be the same. I did buy a Powerball ticket. That was the first thing on the list, but unfortunately I'm not,
Illinois.
Yeah, I'm not a billionaire today.
Dad won $2. I'm not sure how we're going to spend it all.
$2?
Yeah.
How much was this ticket?
I don't know, you hit 3 numbers, didn't it? And then that $2?
I don't know. Anyways, there's where the hanger bearing used to be. Right there. Now, Dad's saying that would have been a wood bushing in this.
Yes.
So this was put in 1974. We are attempting to recycle the rollers off of a lawnmower deck. Isn't that what we're using? Lawnmower deck roller? Yeah. So.
Should fail spectacularly.
Yeah, hopefully it'll work.
Actually burn the place down.
I asked Dad if the grain bin guy would have a bushing for that. He said, well, we ain't there. He must be planning on hauling a lot of grain today, I guess. Well, we didn't have a big enough drill bit. So we're gonna have to take this to a machine shop, and they are closed for the day. So I guess this project's gonna get put on hold till tomorrow. So I'm gonna go mow my yard, and we'll pick back up tomorrow morning.
Big channel auction in my truck. Nope. You miserable.
Belts fell off. Cage is up against the fan.
Yeah, it sounds like.
All right, folks, finally, that gearbox is fixed. So I didn't film much of us putting it back in, and I really didn't film a whole lot of us taking it out, because let me tell you what, that was an absolutely miserable experience. That was awful. That sucked. But that brings up a good topic we can discuss here: grain bin layout. So this grain bin setup here was built in 1974. And let's just go look at my schematic in here, and we'll show you the general lay of the land on this bin site. This place was built in 1974, and here's how it is laid out. So when they first started building this, they built, I believe, these 4 bins. We call this bin 1, bin 2, bin 3, and bin 4. Then later, bin 5 was added, and I believe the next year bin 6 was added. So something I should bring up and point out, these grain bins were not built by my family. This was built by another gentleman that owned this place. He never farmed it himself. He had some tenants that farmed it. They built it together back in 1974. So we had no input. It was already designed, it was already built and in use when we started farming here and when we bought into this farm. But that's how the basic map of this system looks. This is the leg, this is the doghouse. That gearbox was right here. Now, one thing that isn't to scale on here, really none of this is to scale. Like, basically when I drew this out, I found something that was circular that was about that size. Used it for these 2 bins because they're the same size. Likewise and likewise. But when planning to build a system, I don't know why, when they did this, they built this system here. Part of the reason we just got done replacing that gearbox is because it sits in water. This site drains horribly. If you've been watching us for very long, you have seen what I'm talking about. Pretty much anytime it rains, we're over here draining water. We have sump pumps. They work for a while. Eventually, they quit working. We've used any kind of pump you can imagine. There's drainage pipe in the holes that, like the leg pit, the U-trough auger back there. They all have drainage, but I mean, this place is 50-some years old, or almost 50 years old. Most of them are plugged up. But what kills me about this is a very well-drained farm. There's almost no pipe, like drainage pipe, on this farm anywhere else. This farm's almost 1,200 acres. Very sandy ground. And where they built this grain bins, they built it right up next to a hill. I'm assuming they built it where they built it because they didn't want to waste any farm ground. And I guess what I'm getting at, when you plan a site, plan it to where you have room. Not only is this in a terrible spot for drainage, there's also almost no room for expansion. So when you're laying out a grain system, you need to start thinking ahead. You need to, like, in 20 years, where are we going to be? Are we still going to be farming? Do we plan on growing? Does the next generation coming up plan on growing? Like, I'm looking at right now when we're making decisions, like, my kids are awful little, but I have 3 children. My brother has 3 children. There's a decent chance that one of them is going to farm. I hope. So I'm trying to plan for the future. Like, where are we going to be whenever I'm 70? Who knows? I don't know that it's easy to look at this now and think they didn't plan for the future. I wasn't in their shoes. In 1974, this place was state of the art. This was probably one of the nicest grain setups for on-farm storage in the county. I'd almost guarantee it. They had enough storage for all the acres for that time. I mean, you're talking about a time when corn, you know, probably the average yield was 140. And beans, the average yield was probably 40. So they had more than enough storage at that time. It just wasn't planned in a good way, in my opinion, for expansion. I mean, there's a hillside right here. It pretty much wraps around, like they had to cut the hillside out for this number 6 bin. Over here, that way, completely flat. Could have put those bins anywhere. If we own this grain site outright, which right now we still don't, we own a percentage of this farm, which is why when people ask, why are we building bins elsewhere? That's why. We don't own this ground 100%. It's very hard to want to drop in $200,000 improvements whenever you're the only side of that equation doing that. So, if we did own this outright, I would probably get rid of these bins. Maybe keep these 2 bins for bean storage or something along those lines. And we would go this way, where it is flatter, where it is drier, where we have more room for expansion. If we walk just over here to the side of number 1 and 2 bin, you look out there, there's flat ground, there's plenty of space. I mean, there's a 7-acre field right here. It's kind of a pain in the butt to combine and plant 'cause it's long and skinny, but it's been a great place to park some grain bins. Now, one other thing about planning out a grain system. In our new grain site, we did this because of our experiences here. We've been down in that hole right there, working on that gearbox for this U-trough auger. Very tight space, not much room. Then you throw in that auger for number 6 bin. Very tight space. That job was going to be miserable regardless. That just made it worse. If you look at our other grain site, I think we left 6 foot in between each bin foundation, which is too much. That's probably more than we need. We probably wasted some space there, but we had plenty of space because we picked a flat, wide open area with 3-phase power right beside it, blacktop road right to a highway. I mean, it's a very good site. And a lot of the reasons we did that is from learning from here, like working on things. At some point, you're gonna have to pull one of these auger flightings out. That looks fun. I mean, it can be done, but it's not fun. This leg, I will never put a leg in a hole because of this place. I know it can be done. I know it can be done much better than this, but look where that bearing is for the leg. It's over there. There's a bearing on each side here. This particular leg is 22 years old this year. I think it was put in 2001, I'm pretty sure. At some point, that bearing's gonna go. It is right up against a concrete wall. That's not gonna be fun. These are all things I would consider when planning out a grain system. And basically, like I say, because of this place, I feel like we planned out our other grain system with a lot more flexibility. So there you go, folks. Thanks for watching. Again, we will be at the Maggie Show Wednesday, August 24th, Thursday, August 25th in Maggie, Illinois. So if you're going to the Maggie Custom Applicator Show, look me up. I will be there at the Oxbow booth or around the Oxbow tent the entire time. So come check it out. Should be a good time. I'm going to get to play around in some spreaders and some sprayers. I think they even said something about an obstacle course, so that could be fun. I like the ramp stuff. I don't know if they're going to let me take it off any sweet jumps. We're going to see. Then, the next week, we will be at the Farm Progress Show. I'll be there the first 2 days. Anybody I see wearing Brian's Farming Videos or Brown Farms merchandise, I'm going to have a little treat for you. So stop over. Got a little giveaway for you. I mean, don't get your hopes up. You're probably just getting a Brown Farms bumper sticker, but hey, it's better than nothing. Just got to have the merch. But thanks for watching. And if you don't have some merch, check the link in the description. We've got a few new pieces in the store this month. Check that out. If I see you at the Progress Show, like I said, I'm going to give you a bumper sticker. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to thumbs up the video, and we'll see you in the next one.